He's independent MP Dai Le. Dai, good to see you. First of all,
Hello,
you look
Laura.
like you're in Maroon's colours, which I take exception to this morning because I take it that you are a Blues fan. But look, we'll move on quickly from that. That's all right. We don't all have wardrobe departments. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk tax reform, which is less exciting but perhaps more important than State of Origin. Yeah. Jim Chalmers not wanting to preempt anything, because if we've learned anything over the past couple of decades is to get something done, something big done, to get actually reform done, you need a consensus, and he certainly wants to build that. What do you think people can centre around? Because reform isn't just tinkering with one thing here and there. It is actually changing the inefficient taxes that stall productivity and stall the whole system.
Look, Laura, I'm not a tax expert, but can I say that we had a roundtable tax discussion in the last Parliament, organised by Allegra Spender, the member for Wentworth, and that had a real whole range of people talking about the need for tax reform, because we do need to some way a tax reform, such as, from my perspective, increasing the income tax threshold, which is currently at about 18,200, which was set out back in 2012. Now we could increase that because indexation, inflation, we could double that, for instance. So that is something that we could look at potentially if there's a real tax reform. But my concern, obviously, is that the government did not go to the election with the mantra of having a tax reform. And if Labor is talking about tax reform with a huge deficit, are they talking about tax increase? And we've seen that discussion around the superannuation of taxing of unrealised gains. So I have said that that is a danger when they talk about taxing unrealised gains, that there will be other taxing, which means equals to increasing in taxes. And what does that do for our productivity, especially here in Fowler, where there are small businesses are struggling to run their businesses because of the whole, range of taxes and, of course, increases in their energy prices, in the cost of running a business nowadays as well. So there are many issues around. So my hope is that the government isn't just going to talk about tax reform, meaning increasing taxes. And I am. Sorry, Laura, you're going to ask me something?
I was just. It was just a little sigh or note of laughter when you said tax reform isn't just increasing taxes. I think we'd all agree with that.
Well, let's hope that that's the case, right? So let's hope that they're going to be transparent about that. And politicians. I mean, I know I'm a politician, but when these more seasoned politicians of the major parties, when they talk about certain things, they mean another thing. And really, we need to be upfront with the Australian public that what we're doing is going to benefit the productivity of this country, of this nation. And I really kind of shake my head when they talk about having this productivity roundtable. 3 years ago, when they won government, they had the Job and Skills Summit. We don't even know the outcomes of that Jobs and Skills Summit, right? Have we addressed the skill shortages what was the purpose of the Jobs and Skills Summit? Was that to address the skill shortages? And what has the government done to address those skill shortages in the last 3 years? Nothing. Now, we're going to have a productivity roundtable. Again, really great headlines for the government to say, oh, we're going to have a Job and Skills Summit. Nothing came out of it. What were the outcomes? Now we're going to have a productivity roundtable. Again, I mean, productivity links to the ability for businesses, for people to set up their businesses, to run, to employ people, to ensure that they can actually be productive. But the way that we currently are experiencing the increase in energy prices, increases in supply chain, everything, how are we going to be productive? So let's see. The Parliament resumes on July the 22nd. Let's see what the government's going to do with their productivity roundtable and the tax reform.
We will see. Dai, good to talk to you.